Hey everybody, it's Kevin DeWalt from ProLego. Today I'm going to help you understand how we're going to begin building enterprise artificial general intelligence applications or enterprise AGI applications by walking through an example of an application called AutoGPT, which you may have heard about on the internet. So this demonstration is in the context of the essay I've written. The era of enterprise AGI is about to begin. So I would encourage you to take a look at that if you want the full background, but I'm going to summarize the key thesis right here. So we are at the beginning of a mass automation process that is going to fundamentally change how every business operates and how every job function and every business currently works. And we know that's going to happen because for the first time in human history, we've created a type of technology that's able to perform basic human level reasoning tasks. Of course, that's GPT-4. That's going to allow us to mass automate every business process at scale. So just as some background, GPT-4 is a large language model created by OpenAI, and it's a technology that is a fundamental breakthrough. It's not an evolutionary process or an evolutionary advance from previous AI models. It's something completely different. And although most of the experience you probably had with GPT-4 is around ChatGPT, that's where most of the media attention is, the real application is going to be in using GPT-4 as an agent in software applications that allows you to deploy it and build things. And so LangChain is the example of a framework that it's going to allow us to start building those applications. And today I'm going to show you an example application called AutoGPT, which uses GPT-4 as the thinking and reasoning agent. And when you see how it works, it's going to give you a glimpse into really what's really happening, what's the art of the possible. Okay, so we're going to walk through an example of AutoGPT, and we're going to have it perform a task for us. And to do so, I'm joined by my lovely assistant, Charlie. Say hi, Charlie. So Charlie doesn't really care a lot about AutoGPT. In fact, there's a lot of stuff Charlie doesn't care about. But what Charlie really does care about are greenies. Oh, you want that greenie, don't you? So unfortunately, Charlie, this is your very last greenie. We're going to have to go buy some more. So go ahead, Charlie. Thank you for your help. Go enjoy your greenie. All right. Now, Charlie is off to enjoy his prize. Well, we need to get Charlie some more greenies. And so to find some more greenies for Charlie, we're going to use AutoGPT to find a store where we can go buy them. And as it turns out, we're going to try to find a store that's closest to Charlie's favorite park in Savannah, and that's Forsyth Park. And so what do I have on the screen here? I have downloaded and configured the AutoGPT application on my local system. Now, this is an open source application. Anybody can do this. And the first thing it asks me is, I want AutoGPT to do something. And I've pasted in there so you don't have to watch me type the task that I want AutoGPT to complete. And I want it to find a store with greenie dog treats within walking distance of Forsyth Park, because of course that's what Charlie would want. So quick primer of what AutoGPT is. So from their website, AutoGPT is an experimental open source application showcasing the capabilities of the GPT-4 language model. This program driven by GPT-4 chains together LLM like thoughts to autonomously achieve whatever goal you set. Okay, so that's it. So it's an open source project, which means anybody can contribute to it. It's extremely popular and there's a lot of activity around it. And so what does it do? Well, let's jump back to our example. So this is what you're met with when you install AutoGPT, when you install AutoGPT on your local system. Now, to be clear, all I've done is downloaded the open source application in my environment, and I've put in my API key so that I can actually communicate back and forth with one of the GPT models. And then it just gets going. So let's go ahead and see what happens. So I click go. And I've asked us to start completing a task. Now, I could have typed any task I wanted in here. And so while it's thinking and getting started, and while it's making calls to OpenAI's APIs, just consider how difficult it would be to start building any kind of system to kind of do whatever you want. And you realize that there really has been no way in human history even to start thinking about building a system like this, because we've never had something like these GPT models that are able to start reasoning. Okay, now it's running. So what is it doing? It's taken that goal that I put in there to find greenies for Charlie, and it's made calls out to OpenAI's language models. and it's asking it to do some analysis of the task. And the specific details of the screen here are really not that important. It created some goals. It came up with a name. Now it's calling it the Dog Treat Finder GPT, and it has a definition of that role, some thoughts and reasonings. But most importantly, it comes up with a plan, right? And the plan is to use Google Maps to search for pet stores near Forsyth Park, call each store to check for greeny dog treats, and save the information in the file. Now, I don't know if there's no real way for the program to actually make phone calls, as far as I know, but you could certainly imagine building something to do that. So every time I've run this, it's come up with a completely different task list. And so now I can choose whether I want to authorize it to begin doing the task, but I'm actually going to run something different. I'm going to have it do self-feedback. So I'm going to evaluate this task. And what does it do? It comes back with thoughts, reasoning, plan, and criticism will now be verified by an agent. So it's now taking the information in the task that it's created, and it's calling another GPT model to verify it. So this is a really important concept to understand, because a lot of people will talk about, well, one of the big problems we can't build anything with these GPT models is because they hallucinate and make errors. But we can actually use other GPT models to verify and do other error checking, or we can use people to do it in other systems. And so even though GPT-4 has limitations, we can connect it with tools that will allow it to do more advanced things. All right, so now it's continuing to work, and it's decided to use another tool. And that tool, of course, is it's going to do a Google search. And it's now it's now doing a Google web search to try to find pet stores near Forsyth Park that might have greenies. And this is how the system continues to work, and it will continue to run. And in this, now it says it's going to write to a file, and it's going to write to a particular stores.txt file inside my environment. So I can tell it to go ahead and go yes. Every time I execute this program with this task, it does something different. Sometimes it tries to create a API key for Google Maps. Sometimes it tries to set up a service in Google Cloud Services. Sometimes it tries to write a Python script on my local environment. Depending on whatever reasoning function it comes up with, it tries to do something different. And then it's going to continue spinning and spinning and spinning, right? So I need to file written successfully. So, well, why don't we just check to see if let's just check to see if that file is there. So it says it wrote a file called stores.txt. So let's see if that file exists. And we're going to go through and look inside the GPT workspace and see if that file exists. And I don't see that file, unfortunately, so it looks like there's some sort of bug, but I actually have one from a previous run where it wrote a file called greenystores.txt. Yeah, so what? So why should you care about all this? Well, the truth is AutoGPT is kind of useless. It doesn't work very well. And then there's lots of talk in social media about all the amazing things it can do. It can build websites for you, and you can do searches but honestly, for right now, it's not very effective at doing just about anything. And so the question is, why should you care? Why you should care is because it provides an example of the art of the possible. It's giving you an inclination of where we're going. And so to just really play on that theme, take a look at the popularity of AutoGPT. There are 120,000 stars on GitHub for this repository. People are talking about it everywhere, in spite of the fact that it's not really good for anything. It doesn't really solve any problem. So I've actually seen some criticisms of AutoGPT where people are saying, why is it so popular? And people say, oh, well, it's just these social media influencers talking about it and just these dummies working on it that thinks it can do something, but it really won't do anything now. That is really dangerous thinking because it suggests that you might be missing a larger trend. It's popular in spite of the fact that it's useless, and that should indicate you what's happening. And if you really want to get a glimpse into the future, here's where this technology is going. People have started creating plugins for AutoGPT. So even though it's kind of useless and it just spins up tasks that don't really go anywhere, you could imagine that we'll get better at confining its reasoning and directing its reasoning agent to perform very specific tasks that you want to do. And now people are creating plugins where you can connect it to Twitter, you can connect it to your email, you can connect it to Stable Diffusion and DALL-E and create images. It can search Wikipedia and on and on and on. We will soon reach a point where you can connect these kind of large language models to any API in the world. That means anything inside your office, your entire Outlook applications, your calendar, your Outlook mail, Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, all of the internal systems you built that have APIs, every external system, every vendor, every supplier, every service available on Amazon Web Services. So now that we have the ability to do this reasoning with this reasoning agent, and even though these initial applications are like poor and don't work very well, we are at the beginning of a Cambrian explosion of new types of applications that are going to completely revolutionize what you need to do. So let me just conclude by trying to drive home the key point that I want to make here. There is a tremendous amount of confusion out there and a misunderstanding about what's about to happen. And it's because the people, and a lot of times the people who have experts in this technology are looking at GPT-4 and saying, well, it's not really smart, it doesn't really know how to reason, but they're missing the bigger picture. And that is, we do not have to wait for GPT-4 to get much better, or we don't have to wait for a fundamental breakthrough in AI research to start building enterprise AGI. As this AutoGPT demonstration shows you, we can start building those technologies today, because GPT-4, when you couple it with other tools and resources, is good enough to begin automating a lot of business processes, even without another fundamental breakthrough in AGI. All right, I hope it helps. Have a great day.